What's up guys, Duke Sloth here, and today I felt like talking a little bit about Bellona as far as played her today. I felt like doing some theory again. I've done a lot of gameplay lately, so this is gonna be about balancing. Just a little disclaimer, if you either think that Bellona is completely balanced or over the top, completely broken and no way to play against her, this video is probably not for you. I personally think that she is too strong as of now, and she needs some adjustments, but she doesn't need to be nerfed into the ground. I'm gonna go through all her abilities and say what I think could be done about them to make her more balanced. Starting off with her passive. Her passive is Master of War, and whenever she hits somebody or gets hit, she gets 5 protections and 6% movement speed. This can stack up to 5 times. This passive is extremely strong. Many people have compared it to Sobek's passive. I don't think that's right because he's not a warrior. But anyways, the numbers just speak for itself. This could be toned down a fair bit. I'd say giving her 3 protections per stack and maybe 3% movement speed would be totally fine, and she would still be strong, still end up with 15 protections of both kinds and 15% movement speed, which is still a lot. Many characters would love to have that much movement speed as melee bruisers. Moving on to her shield bash. The shield bash is pretty fine, in my opinion. It's a short dash. It's a slow, but you can only use it as a slow or an escape. So you can't slow your enemy and escape afterwards. You have that block against attacks, and it reflects a bit of damage. Maybe the reflection is not necessary, but it's still okay. After 3 successful basic attacks, she gains another stack. Maybe lower the amount of stacks she gets, because she can still stack those up pretty well, making her very strong. But this is not her main issue. This is not what makes Bellona so strong right now, because most people don't even play her in shield bash stance that much. Moving on to her next ability, Bludgeon. Bludgeon has a huge amount of damage if you get it all in. You have that 150 damage from the spin that you'll always get in. It's not hard to hit. And you got an extra 310 damage on top of that on max rank if you hit the enemy with the final blow. The scaling on this is also very high, and the slam damage increases with every enemy god hit. This ability sounds very strong on paper, and if you can get it through, it is very strong. But what most people don't seem to realize is how incredibly hard it is to get one of those through. Because if you have a team that watches what Bellona does, then it's so easy to take her out of it. Every kind of CC, silence, stun, I think even it might even be cripple, I'm not sure. Like pretty much everything takes her out of that ability after the swing, and stops the slam damage from happening, and it also sets the ability on cooldown, so she can't use it afterwards for 10 seconds. This makes the ability alright to me. I think it could maybe get a little cooldown increase, so when you can't do it once in a fight, you don't have the chance to attempt to do it again. And maybe the scaling per god hit is a bit too high, but at the same time it's very unlikely to hit it when there's more than one god present, because most gods have some kind of CC. Also, it is not that hard to dodge. If you can leap out or anything, you pretty much take away her main burst damage. Not her main damage source, but her main burst damage that she has. So Bludgeon could use some slight adjustments, but is also not the main problem of her kit. The main problem comes up now. The main problem is Scourge. I've been saying this before. I've been saying this since I've played her on the PTS. The healing on her Scourge is insane. The damage of the ability itself is alright. The disarm, in my opinion, is alright too. And bear in mind, I mained Baka for the longest time. I know what it feels like as an auto hitter. So the disarm is strong, but it can be cancelled by beats. And if you're smart enough to play around it, 3 seconds is not going to kill you. Especially not because Bellona is not a burst character. The problem is the healing. On the highest rank, which you achieve really early in the game, it heals 110 damage every 3 hits. And this is the reason why people can build her on attack speed and still get massive heals off. It's extremely annoying, and there's really not much you can do against it, especially in combination with her passive. She can just chase you around, auto hitting you with her 3. It does never have to change stances really, and she'll still kill you. She can even build like 2 tank items and just attack speed other than that, and she's probably pretty much unkillable. What people have suggested, and what I personally find the best idea as well, is reduce the base healing and make it scale with physical power, same as damage does. This would force people to build damage on her instead of just pure attack speed if they want the full potential of the healing. This would ensure that a tanky Bellona is not going to heal for that much either, because she won't be able to build a lot of defenses, a lot of damage, and a lot of attack speed. And this would also make a base damage or a damage Bellona more viable, pushing her more in the direction of the classical warrior a little bit, but not too much. She's still dependent on attack speed with the effect of her 1 and her 3. But this ability needs to be addressed. This is what makes her so broken at this point. And I'm actually kind of disappointed to see a lot of people recommending attack speed builds on her, because we all know that's not going to stay the way it is. And if people get used to playing her on attack speed, we're going to see a lot of that even after it gets nerfed. So yeah, I really hope there will be something that's done about this ability. Moving on to her ult. Her ult is the other thing that makes her really, really strong. It has damage, it has a stun. This is outside of the rest it offers, which is the protections, the physical power. And this does not only apply to her, but everyone in that circle. It has a huge radius, and I don't find any of that to be too problematic. I'm okay with it having a little bit of damage, even though it scales up pretty high. I'm okay with it having a stun. I'm okay with the protections and the physical power. That's all fine with me. I don't really think that's the issue, because it's an ultimate after all. And even if Odin's ultimate is not as strong, Odin is just a very weak character in general, just because this comparison came up so often. Whereas I want Bellona to be balanced, not in Odin's state. What bothers me and many others about this ability is the cooldown. The cooldown starts at 75 seconds, which is really not that much when you think about it, and it goes down to 55. An ultimate with a cooldown of 55 that deals a lot of damage, stuns you, helps your team big time, and buffs yourself, making you extremely strong in 1v1 situations, is a little too much to me. Take it up to, I don't know, 90 seconds, and I wouldn't even mind if it was 90 seconds flat, and she'll still be strong, she won't struggle. But at this point, she can actually use her ultimate as an escape on a regular basis and still use it to jump into the next team fight. That's just annoying. It's just she should have to consider when to actually use her ult, when to utilize it. I find myself often using it too little because it's off cooldown so quick, and I don't even know when I should apply it because I feel like I could waste it. In the end, I realized you can't really waste it at all because you can always use it. It's up again in less than a minute, and that makes it very, very strong. So to sum it up, lower the stats on her passive, maybe lower her 2 a little bit, lower the healing on her 3 and make it scale with physical power, and increase the cooldown on her ult. That should be enough to get her in a state where she can compete with other gods on an equal level. One thing I wanted to mention towards the end of this video is she does have counters. People don't have been claiming that she doesn't have any counters, but especially ability-based physicals have a good time fighting against her. Bastet, Loki, yes, Loki, Hercules, those kind of gods, gods that just have a high 1v1 potential, like Nemesis can hold up with her, and she gets shut down by any kind of hard CC, especially mages like Scylla that can burst out a high amount of damage while getting away from the enemy easy, have an easy time with her, while gods that are currently the top picks in the meta, like for example Poseidon, have more problems with her. It's not like he's one of her main victims, so to speak, but with his lack of escapes and so on, he has to get this burst through, and if he doesn't, or if you build him on attack speed, he's just gonna have problems with her. But that's okay, because the meta is going to change constantly, and with every new god introduction it has to change. That shouldn't be what worries people. That said, I still feel like she needs some adjustments, and I've come to the conclusion that if she gets toned down in the points I mentioned before, she would probably be on the same level as most A or S tier gods, maybe. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Duke Sloth out.